However, it is just going to be able to set up once again. And there we go, for the Fatherland being used, increasing the defensive bonuses of all of these Volksgrenadiers while they're sitting out here in friendly territory right now. So that's going to turn the tides for sure. And once again, we can see that this MG42 here is just kind of exchanging fire with this Rifleman squad out there. The Rifleman squad, however, just by sitting here is really going to prevent a capture for as long as they can stay in that building. Very similar to having a Rifleman squad in this building here. It just kind of prevents you from, or at least inflicts heavy casualties on you if you do try to stand there and capture it. Let's take a look around right now and see what exactly Korean Army's up to. I can see he does have a triage center up, and he does have a supplier up, and very interestingly, he's going to go ahead and grab a weapon support center. Perhaps going for snipers, perhaps going for mortars, definitely not going for machine guns at this point in the game. But obviously, enough of the battlefield has given him clues that he needs something from his weapon support center. He was on a nice cruising, he had the build set up in order to get a nice slow rolled M8 Greyhound or something to that effect, but it looks like he's just not even going to bother. Obviously, he was thinking about it because he went and got the supply center, but there are other reasons to do that. So, taking a look around right now, we can see, again, just kind of stalling right here with this Rifleman just kind of hang out in the building. And on the left-hand side, finally, our Flame Pioneers are just going to start capping some of this territory. Once again, in the middle, again, finally taking control over this road. Very important, and it could even threaten to kind of split up Korean Army's territory just a little bit there. More towards the north, we see yet more Riflemen. I'm curious to see, actually, I apologize. I'm just going to keep flipping back and forth because both these players are being so active. I want to keep track of exactly what they're doing. I was curious to see, yes, he did in fact lose a Rifleman squad while that was all going on there. And now you can see he's putting some pressure on this machine gun team, forcing them out of the building there. And here we go. Oh, yeah, we got some mortars going on now. So that's quite interesting. You can see BartonPL was already ready to go here with his anti-tank gun. This is pretty nice rear positioning. Should some sort of M8 Greyhound or something like that come rushing down the road, he's in a nice far back enough position to be able to defend it, but also to be able to kind of pop out of nowhere and put some pressure on that here. We can see, again, for the Fatherland being activated, putting a lot of pressure on these gentlemen in this building here. They're going to have to retreat, and just lots of firing going on. The beautiful thing about this kind of positioning that I love, and you don't see this very much in Dawn of War 2 games, is the fact that when you have access to this much sort of defensive stuff and bunkers and whatnot, the Imperial Guard actually play a lot like this. You can have a forward base. Like, this is all his territory de facto, just by the fact that he has buildings and wire up and stuff like that. He doesn't have to just feel like he's only safe in his base. He's actually safe on that whole side of the map right now. We have a nice little forward attack going on here. Unfortunately, he's got to be careful. These flamethrower engineers could do a lot of damage. You can see he's trying to focus them down right now. He has been putting veterancy into his infantry. So you'll notice Vet 2 infantry right now for BartonPL, taking a look around. Yeah, he just has that Krieg Barracks up in the Kampfkraft Center, and you can see his defensive guys here do have machine guns around their base buildings. And looks like he's just going to back away for the time being. But, oh, now we have it. Korean Army has actually gone for infantry. We can see his little crossed rifles there for infantry. So he definitely has got the howitzer shot up there. And so we're going to see infantry versus defensive. And as I kind of alluded to at the beginning before, aggressive infantry versus heavy defensive German. Pretty fun play styles to see clash up against each other. Kind of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object kind of effect going on. The use of mortar teams, phenomenal. I do want to see, it's very tricky to use mortars in this kind of position because they're very exposed and there's a lot of, things running around that could kill them. But a well-microed mortar team can really change this sort of stuff. It takes a lot of skill. Mortars can easily slam into buildings, taking out machine gun nests. They can easily take care of lots of clumped up troops. We'll have to see where exactly they're firing right now. Looks like just kind of firing at some of these guys hanging out behind the heavy green cover here. But just look at the fighting that's happening all across the fronts here. And, oh, we've got some mortars going back and forth now, actually. We do have regular German mortars out here right now, returning fire. This can get really, really tricky. Oh, and it looks like the Germans are going to take the first casualty. That could be very tricky. You really have to micro your mortars quite a bit when it's mortar-on-mortar warfare. Oftentimes firing 1 or 2 volleys and then just going back and forth. And, oh, yeah, look at that. Looks like the Volksgrenadiers do get the flank off on the mortars, picking off the last gentleman. And now the German mortars are going to be able to just kind of shell away at the American positions here. That is going to really, really... Oh, no! And that one little freaking mine that I pointed out at the beginning there just went off. They just barely scooched on over to it. Took a ton of damage right there. But it's okay. Like I said, the Just the fact that BartonPL has got a slight advantage here with the mortars makes this pretty interesting for him. A second mortar team out right now, and he's just started putting veterancy in them. They were Vet 0 a while ago. Now they are Vet 1. So double mortar teams. This is very, very defensive. It can be very hard. Suppressed infantry getting hit by mortar shells, that's bad news right there. And especially since we've got some infantry hanging out in this building here. Actually, I guess it's just the engineers right now. But I'm going to try my best to look for mortar shots. We can see them kind of coming down all over the place right now. We have allied mortars once again. It looks like, yes, the riflemen did just go ahead and pick up that mortar position there. Mortars coming in on top of our MG42 in the front right now. Mortar-on-mortar warfare is definitely extremely micro-intensive, and I do want to try and keep a track of that. And now we have a howitzer shot coming down directly on top of this bunker. He's going to have to get out of there. And oh, bam! Look at that! Oh, look at that! The machine gunner actually survived that. It looks like the medics just took that one full on in the face, but all the support teams were able to get out of there right now. So we still have once again Browning automatic riflemen hanging out in this building. Oh, along with a single engineer who it looks like just got wrecked by a mortar. Look how effective those mortars are when you get a direct hit on a building like that. You can see how much damage these guys are taking right now. Just kind of wrecking this building, taking a lot of casualties. Riflemen have got to get out of there. Very low hit points, and it looks like they do actually just barely get out of there. Once again, we'll notice way over here on the left-hand side, he is finally able to recapture this munitions point. And again, it looks like Korean Army is just kind of struggling to deal with this. And look at the mortar fire that is continually going off here. The repositioned German mortar was just taken out by an allied mortar. I can't select them now because they're retreating, but I'm guessing we're going to see 3 casualties on there if we look around. We did have some, it looks like For the Fatherland was activated while he was pressing through this territory. So again, this is very interesting. We'll see BartonPL has a nice, strong central control. Pretty weak control over the left and right-hand sides of the map. Well, the left in particular. But he is focusing all of his attention on these defensive positions here, trying his best to micro mortars and machine guns and what may have you. So let's take a look around now. I'm going to swap back once again to BartonPL's point of view. I want to see how things are coming along from his side of the field here. We can see he does have registered artillery. Looking up north, we can see lots of micromanagement going on here. Watching these things makes me feel like I'm watching a war movie, and it's very easy to forget that a person is actually sitting here microing all this stuff. Highly skilled players, their games look very natural, because you just end up thinking that like it's a movie you're watching, and they're actually controlling people on all sides of the map and doing what they need to be doing. We can see mortars just kind of landing around here once again. Still double mortars. It looks like his Volksgrenadiers were able to pick up that old mortar, and these are Vet 3 mortars now. Holy God! Vet 3 mortars are incredibly dangerous. Lots of damage, lots of accuracy. You can see allied mortars hanging back here behind green cover. And I'm just going to have to keep an eye on the mortar warfare that's going on here. He could be using it to try and pick off this medic station. And looking way down in the south, we can see, again, the Browning automatic riflemen are just being used right now to just kind of ninja cast stuff in the back. These guys are great at this job. It's unfortunate that you have to take them away from the front, but having those riflemen back there is awesome because it's very hard for like a pioneer to go off there and deal with them because they're so good in combat. Again, we see mortars just kind of peppering this area, wrecking all of this. This was exactly where that previous mortar team had been taking cover. You can see this wall is being destroyed right now. He could even be target firing directly onto that wall just to remove that green cover. It's hard to say exactly, or if that's just a byproduct of him just kind of randomly shelling this area. And now we have some beautiful looking flanks coming in. Oh no, he already thought of that one. BartonPL, well aware that this was a potential line of attack right here. And oh, we got landmines going off, all sorts of bad things here. The nice thing also about covering all of this here is that you really can exactly predict the retreat paths of anybody on this half of the map. They have to walk across here because of the fact that all of these little shortcuts are cut off here. So that's pretty awesome. But you'll notice here he is relying heavily on these Vet 3 mortars. And now this is suddenly a mortar game. And we have a Goliath on the battlefield. Goliath? What are you doing with the Goliath, BartonPL? That's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep an eye on that and see where he's going here. But he obviously had some extra munitions. You can produce those from bunkers. I forget how many. I think it's like 200 munitions, maybe 250, something like that. So it's kind of expensive munitions-wise, but they can be comedically awesome. They just do a humongous amount of damage. Again, we got some fighting going on here, and look at that Goliath. Where's he going? He's trying to keep track of the infantry, I suppose, and just see when he can drive that Goliath in. I'm just going to have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. Oh, you know what, actually? He is well aware that he's dealing with an infantry player, I suspect, and as a result, perhaps he's leaving this here to... no, he'd have to leave it up there if he was waiting for off-map reinforcements. He could be trying to set this in in a position where it could detonate if off-map reinforcements come in. Looking here, though, we can see fighting happening really intensely on both sides. Maybe he's going to try and actually pick these guys off while they're retreating. Could it be? Nope, he's actually just driving all the way around, going in for the kill on top of the mortar team, and he takes out the mortar team right there. There were so many targets around that he could have possibly gone for, but he definitely took out the one juicy mortar team. Unfortunately, the action was just happening all over the place. We can still see yet more shots going off here in the center. Taking a look around at the health of the various Axis mortar teams, you can see mortar teams are way in the rear here, and just a fantastic job of using these triple Volksgrenadiers right now to kind of defend. More towards the center, we can see, unfortunately, it looks like the Pioneers are getting a bit shredded as all of these riflemen are now just kind of pouring in. Again, the intense fighting happening right in the center right now. It looks like BartonPL only has control over that center victory point. However, Korean Army has no problems just kind of controlling the left and right sides. Again, you often have to give up the flanks in order to take control over the middle here. We can see just really intense infantry combat going on right here. We've got triple rifleman squads right now with Browning automatic rifles, backed up by this medic station, which is inevitably helping him out. And, of course, having the medic bunker back here as well. That is a real staple of BartonPL's army right now. He can reinforce from it. Oh, beautiful looking hand grenade there as well. He can reinforce from it, and it's also going to be providing him with units and whatnot. I'm not sure if he's used register artillery yet, but I'll keep an eye out for that. And what do we have here? We have a howitzer being built here as well. So howitzer in the field, that thing is obviously, you can even tell just by its reticle that it's pointing directly at this bunker here. So I'm sure pretty damn soon, yep, there we go. He's going to go ahead and try and do some long-lasting damage to this bunker. Looks like that just took out somebody, probably a medic standing around, although it could have been, maybe that was a medic. So massive attacking going in here on the right-hand side. The infantry are really pushing in right now. You can see the howitzer shot. Careful! Oh, no! The howitzer shot takes care of the one retreating mortar team. They probably didn't even have to retreat. It looked like they were kind of more off to the right-hand side. Happened to retreat right into a howitzer shell right there. That's no good.